Hey lovelies, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time, you are welcome. My name is Ammy. I'm an immigration content creator. I talk about jobs, study abroad, travels, everything that has to do with immigration. So if you're interested in this kind of video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Today is about a job seeker visa that was introduced a few months ago in Slovakia. If you don't know where Slovakia is one of the Schengen countries in Europe, and they have introduced a job seeker visa, to help anyone who is in search of a job and ready to migrate to Slovakia. And I'm here with Barbara. She's an immigration lawyer in Slovakia. She'll be taking us through the process of applying for this job seeker visa. After watching this video, if you're interested in migrating to Slovakia and you want to use their services, kindly reach out to me on my Instagram page at Migrate with Ammy. Thank you very much. Please give this video a thumbs up. Yeah. Hi, Barbara. How are you today?
Hi, Ammy. Very nice being here with you on your channel, and I'm fine.
Thank you so much for joining me. We've been on this for almost 1 month, trying to get a suitable date for both of us. I'm excited we are doing this finally today. Could you please introduce yourself to my audience and what are the available opportunities when it comes to migration to Slovakia?
Mm-hmm. So I've been working in immigration to Slovakia for last 15 years. I'm a lawyer, and currently I work for this law firm in eastern part of Slovakia, but we cover the whole territory of Slovakia. We call ourselves Settling Slovakia, but we are attorney at law office. So we provide complex legal services to foreigners who want to immigrate to Slovakia and settle here. So it's from visa, residence permits, or citizenship, even so. So these questions is what we cover, and that's about it. Yeah, about
Thank you
us.
so much. Thank you so much. So, who can apply for this job seeker visa? And what are the process or what's the process of applying for it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So job seeker visa is just like a, I would say, a popular name for the national visa, which can be granted by the Slovak government. This is for highly qualified workers. So it's not open to anybody, but for people who would be coming either with a high education, so high qualifications to work on professions which are scarce and very important for the Slovak labor market and for the economy. Slovakia is a small country, as you said. It borders with EU countries only, and the only non-EU country which we border with is Ukraine. It's a very small country, but we do not have enough foreign talent in our country. What we found out is that only less than 1% of people who work on the labor market are highly qualified third country nationals. And our government last year came up with this idea that we need to make Slovakia more attractive to people who would be coming as highly qualified workers from abroad. So that's why they introduced this concept of job seekers visa. As you said, it's really actually even a few months ago when they introduced this, because this new law is open only since April this year.
Right?
And we do not have, and I don't know if it was so successful, because I think only few hundred people maybe were able to come through this type of process. However, it should make people's access to labor market in Slovakia really easier and quickly accessible. So what are these job seeker visa? Means that for people who would fall within one of the three categories, who have high qualifications, so that means they have university degree of at least second degree. That not means that not bachelor but higher education,
Like
uh,
masters?
masters, yeah. Or I mean, in different countries it can be different. But first category are those who graduated from universities in Slovakia, or in Czech Republic. That's the first category. That's probably the easiest for accessing this type of job seeker visa. The second category are people who graduated from top 500 universities according to 3 different ranking systems. So this is another possibility. And if you don't find your university or research institution on the list, then maybe you still fall within the third category. And the third category are those graduates of universities or research institutions of second degree university education or third degree, who studied at least for 4 years at this program. But the second condition for them is that they will work for Slovak employer in one of the professions which are listed in the annex to this law. And those are professions or occupations which are of highly added value to Slovak economy. This is the government of the Slovak Republic identified. There are like 5 subcategories of professions which are interested, which they are interested to attract people to come to live and settle in Slovakia. And this is managers of different kind. These are researchers of different kind in different areas. It's people, health care professionals, IT sector, and then other technical workers, so people with high technical skills. So these are 5 categories, but maybe under the video we can make a link to these annexes so people can search better, see whether their university would fall within the second category, and if not, then if potentially they could do highly qualified job for one of the in one of the professions which are listed in this second annex. So once people fulfill these criteria and they fall within one of these 3 categories, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Then they should have access to this national visa in the interest of the Slovak Republic. We call it job seeker visa because it's either you already have the employer or you need just time to search for the employer. So you have 2 options. You can apply for job seeker visa, which means this will give you 90 days to come to Slovakia, and you have 90 days to search for this employer. And if you find an employer, you just go to the police and bring the paper of promise of employment from your potential employer, and you change it immediately in a very in short-term or accelerated procedure. Within 30 days, it's changed to national visa for purpose of employment. So these can extend up to 12 months.
12 months.
Yeah. Well, once you are in Slovakia and you have national visa and you already have your employer, then you can, of course, transfer your transfer your national visa to residence permit. This opens up your possibilities to get more stable type of residence and stay and settle in Slovakia. So these are the categories of people who would be eligible. I said that what kind of visa, this national visa you can get, and you were asking about the process. This is why this national visa or the job seeker visa are so interesting, is that the process is very easy and you don't have to list all of the documents which you usually need to list or enclose for application for example, for Schengen visa, because you basically need to prove you fall within one of the categories. So of course, what you need is diploma or certificate of completion of your education. This is the most important thing. So you show that you are eligible. Then you only provide, of course, valid passport and photographs, but and I think the administrative fee is 35 euros, so it's also not very burdening much the budget. And then the only thing you need to show is that you will have the health insurance covered for the time that you're going to spend. So if you're asking for the job seeker visa for 90 days, then for 90 days. If you're going to prolong it for up to 12 months, then you need to show that for this type of period it will be covered. But of course, if you're going to be employed in Slovakia in highly qualified profession, this is part of the package of the employment. every person who is employed in Slovakia and has a regular working contract. Based on the working contract, they are participating in a public health insurance.
Okay,
Even
that's
if
very
they don't
good.
have, yes. So I think that the process is actually very easy. You are not obliged to show any kind of accommodation in advance. You are not obliged to show any kind of financial security. So you don't have to provide any funds or show that you have any funds on your private account.
Really,
This makes it really easier to get compared to other type of visa.
it's actually different because some of the job seeker visa that I've heard of or that I've read online, you need to provide financial means of taking care of yourself while in the country and accommodation as well. So I think yours or Slovakia zone is very easy.
Yeah, this one is made easier to access, exactly just getting rid of these conditions to make it as easier as possible for people to access it. The most important thing though is that you can show the education
Right.
in certain area or from certain institution, then it should be okay. So this is open for year 2022, but we have
Okay.
1.5 months before the end of the year. So basically, was a first year pilot project done by the government. And I was also inquiring about how they evaluate this first pilot year, and they said that they evaluate it still as an important and useful tool for attracting talent from abroad, and they want to continue with it. So I think before the end of the year, we're going to see the second year open for the next year, because usually this is limited by certain quota, like certain number of visa which can be granted per year, but it hasn't been reached in 2022. So I think that they need to also evaluate maybe what the reasons were that not as many people as they wanted to attract,
Right.
why those people were not actually applying for these national visa.
Okay.
Because you can either apply at the embassy, or you can even apply if you are for some reason legally in Slovakia, you can apply directly at the immigration police. Like if you come already with the tourist visa, or you have a visa, you come from the country which have visa-free regime, and you just came to visit friends in, I don't know, Austria, and you peep into Bratislava and you think that, oh, maybe it's a good idea, I'll stay here, then it's possible as well. But you just have to have a legal stay. And if you have legal stay, then you can immediately apply directly in Slovakia.
Okay. Thank you so much
What
for
is very
explaining.
good. Oh, I just want to add one more
Go
information.
ahead.
That means
Right.
which is another advantage of this visa is that this means direct work permit. So you don't have to seek additional work permit with the labor office. This means that once you have this national visa, you can directly work for the certain employer who gave you the working contract. What
It's a
is
beautiful
disadvantage
one.
is that it's not so flexible that you cannot be changing the employer. You
Mhm.
would have to again go through the process of announcing and changing the national visa for the different employer. But you don't have to be like, because normally the third country nationals in Slovakia, if they want to work here, the general rule is that, of course, that the labor market should be reserved for the Slovak job seekers first. So usually the employer has to show that they cannot employ a Slovak job seeker on the position, but these national visa for highly qualified are excluded from this rule. So that they get direct access to the labor market. That's a good advantage, I think.
Okay, that's a good one. So what this means, based on your explanation, right? Once someone has this qualification, no matter the country you are in, you can apply for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's open to everyone. Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, my next question, I was going to ask you about how long is the visa valid, but you've already said that, right? So my next question would be, Can someone move with his or her family if successful?
This is, I think this is a disadvantage of this pilot year, because when they opened it first time, this was one of the things which we first discussed with many people, that they were also asking, can I bring family members based on this visa? And unfortunately, Slovak government hasn't thought about it. They wanted to attract the talent, but they haven't thought that this talented people, of course, they also have life and they have families. They may have
Yeah.
spouses and
Mm-hmm.
children, etc. So far, this is not possible based on the national visa. Um, but based on my knowledge of the immigration law in Slovakia, once person would settle, they find a job and they would settle. If they transfer their national visa to the regular residence permit for purpose of employment, or I don't know, they open a small business or sole trade license, etc. Once they have a regular temporary residence permit, then they can invite their families to come and join them for family reunification.
That
Of
makes
course, a
sense.
nuclear family, which means a spouse and children under 18 years of age.
Hmm. It makes more sense. Thank you so much for explaining. So, my next question is, what happens if an applicant doesn't find a job before the visa expires? Can it be extended?
Mhm. No, unfortunately, again, you have 90 days to search for the job. It cannot be extended for additional time for job seeking.
Okay.
So that would not really help us. So these 90 days at the moment is the deadline within which it should be possible to find an employer.
Okay. So, after everything, is it very easy to get a residence permit to finally settle if someone is interested in settling?
Well, I guess if you find an employer who at the end really wants to have you for a longer time, you finally pass this. Usually the working contracts in Slovakia are with a 3 months trial period. This is quite a standard provision in the labor, in the working contract. So usually when they see that this is a talent that they want to keep, and
Yeah.
then they want to maybe uh, make the relationship between the employer and the employee more sustainable. Also, the employers are open to help more. So I think transferring to the employment possibility should be easier if your employer is really, really interested, because the temporary residence for purpose of employment is again bound to a specific position and
Okay.
specific employer. If you change employer, then you have to again announce this to the police and go through the process of changing this temporary residence. So I'd say that it's not as flexible as we would wish. And it's probably why we do not have as many third country nationals working in Slovakia as the government would wish. So I would say that the system is not as flexible as it could be. However, the conditions for people would be to have the employer, and then they would have to, of course, have already accommodation and show that they can the financial funds. But in this case, it's something over 2,800 euro, which you need to show, but this can be also shown through the working contract. So if you can if you can prove that your salary will be at least this amount of money, then you you are not required to show any funds on your personal account.
Okay. So for someone who doesn't have a job already, you're coming into Slovakia to search for a job. Do you need to provide any proof of funds?
For this job seeker visa, not.
Okay.
But later on, if you wanted to transfer to temporary residence for purpose of
All
employment,
right.
then yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even that's not, if you just want to come and have this experience and you are not yet decided whether you want to stay here or not, Once you find the employment, then it's completely okay if you just extend your national visa for additional 12 months and you stay
Right?
on the national visa for purpose of employment as a
Okay.
highly qualified worker.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so hi guys, thank you so much for watching. So for this job seeker visa in Slovakia, if you already have your master's degree and you're interested in migrating, it's very easy for you to apply for it. I'm going to get the link from her and drop it on the in my description box so you can go to the website and make more research. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you've enjoyed watching it, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and turn on the post notification so you always get to know whenever I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.